My name is Stacy Brightman, and I'm the Vice President for LA Opera Connects. Well, LA Opera Connects is the arm for Los Angeles Opera, if you will, that is about community engagement and learning. And we have the incredible privilege of getting to partner with about 200 different schools every year, another 300 nonprofit organizations that includes libraries, faith-based organizations, and very importantly, health partners. During the pandemic, like so many organizations, we were just faced with not only our own crisis, but crises throughout our community. All of our different partners, our schools shut down, the library shut down, and really, of course, nobody understanding how long are we talking about. Remember the good old days when we thought this might be over in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 at the most, Shirley? And of course, we were also knowing about the extraordinary stress, anxiety, and tragedy that so many families and our healthcare partners were experiencing, and really kind of the terror in those early days. And we frankly reached out, and we didn't even know what the answer would be, but we thought it's better to reach out and let our partners know. These are organizations for whom we had been bringing music to the hospitals. It had been a very interesting situation. You know, there's kind of a three facets to healthcare. There is the medicine, there can be the therapy, and then there's the environment. There's the conditions in which you're trying to either be well or become well. And LA Opera had been a partner with so many hospitals as part of that third component, where we would come into and sing for patients, and we would sing for the nurses and the staff. We would be able to create situations with partners, people like City of Hope, the Veterans Administration, Huntington Hospital, all across Los Angeles, where we just offered what we had, which was the gift and the blessing of music. And, you know, of course, that all shut down immediately. So what we did is we just frankly reached out to some of our longtime friends and partners and said, whatever it is you need, we would want to do it. We want to be a help and a service to you, you know, you who are saving the rest of us. And I was thrilled. I was shocked and honored by how many organizations, how many hospitals, USC Keck, Huntington, Children's Hospital, so many of our partners said, oh, we need you now more than ever. So immediately we went online, and, you know, and sometimes it was kind of sloppy at first. Sometimes, you know, our sound wasn't that good. Sometimes our cameras were not that good in those early days, but it was such a desperate moment to feel connection and to feel and to share this, what music can do for us, the way it can help us all to breathe more deeply, how it can, you know, calm our hearts, certainly calm our souls and our minds. And so immediately, in the early days of the pandemic, within a month, we were doing Zoom recitals, sometimes live Zoom recitals, sometimes pre-recorded, and singing for all of our hospital partners. And one of our partners reached out to us, Rancho Los Amigos, and said, this is so, I can't, you know, what the impact of this is so profound. Can we do more? What about the people who are really, you know, bedridden, they're isolated? What can we do for them? And so we started partnering with the therapy department at Rancho Los Amigos in order to provide bedside music. And what I mean by that is, you know, a couple of artists having a regularly scheduled time where the nurse would take an iPad around to their bedside. You know, these were folks who were not being able to see their families, and literally engage with them and to say, what would you like us to sing? You know, we do a lot more than just opera. And sometimes it was a beloved old favorite, you know, song from a musical. Sometimes it was a spiritual piece. And we had these artists who more and more were able to sing for patients in the most desperate situations. And of course, I cannot overstate how important and what a gift it was for LA Opera artists to be able to share their reason for being, which is music making, and to still be able to do that and feel like it was important and necessary. So the gift was going both ways, absolutely. And then it just kind of kept growing. And the wonderful folks at UCLA, we had a great supporter named Rondi Charleston, who did a little matchmaking with us with UCLA Health. And we started talking with them, and we saw this model from English National Opera in which they were using singers, opera singers, to help with breathing exercises for long haulers, COVID long haulers. And we thought, this is a great idea. We'd already had a lot of this kind of clinical experience in partnership with the therapists. And we thought, let's build on that and go a little bit more deeply. And working together with UCLA Health, we were able to devise a program, a series of workshops in which COVID long haulers could come and spend time doing learning some of the breathing exercises that our singers do on a daily basis. And a big part of what made it successful is these are patients who normally go to therapy as well. But the medical staff at UCLA Health told us, it causes so much anxiety when, you're used to being able to talk and walk and you can't catch your breath. And so that even in therapy, the anxiety levels shoot up. And, how could we help them with some of the breathing, but do it in a way that was not going to make them feel like they're being tested, that it was joyful. And that's where, again, having these singers comes in. And we thought, let's do this, some wonderful kind of deep breathing, very classic exercises. We have a straw, we're going to blow through the straw. We're going to, all these things that singers do all the time. Take them through these kinds of workshops, but also do these check-ins and really talk about how as singers, we know the way my voice sounds today and what I'm able to do today is different than what I was able to do yesterday, that this body, your instrument is always changing. Every day is slightly different, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay, and that's normal. And then after we do these exercises and you're starting to feel a little sense of community, right, with the other folks doing it, we get to know each other a little bit, then the reward for all of us is singing together. So our workshops always have some time for us to sing. And this has just become such a joyful motivator, and it's fun. And of course, you start to sing and you're inside the music and you forget that, I'm also practicing everything my therapist wanted me to do. And I'm practicing these great exercises and deep breathing, and I'm building up my strength again.
Big inhale. I once was lost, gorgeous, but now I'm found. Lovely, everyone. Was blind, but now I see. Beautiful, everyone.
It's always a partnership with our hospitals and our healthcare partners. And so, for instance, specifically with UCLA Health, they recruit the patients. These are patients who are coming through and referred by their therapists or their doctors. And we also make sure that they make sure that they're not patients who have been intubated, because that creates a different kind of stress. And that these are patients who they think would be receptive. So that's our target population, if you will. And then we actually have set up the Zoom, and it's our team of teaching artists. And we have done a lot of planning. We really go through in great detail to pre-plan and do it in coordination with UCLA Health. So UCLA Health knows exactly what we're going to do. They know precisely the exercises that we're going to do. And in fact, of course, somebody from UCLA Health, a doctor or staff member, is always on the call as well. But then we all meet in a Zoom room, and we start off by doing some mindfulness. Our artists, our teaching artists, really take them through a kind of maybe a visualization, a relaxation it's almost a little, sometimes almost a little meditative practices of like, where are you? What's the word that describes you? Just getting people centered. And already when you do that, you start to relax a little bit and to breathe a little bit more deeply. And then we go into a second segment, which is where we actually do our vocal warm-ups and we do our vocal breathing exercises. And we always talk about them as what we do as singers, and we take them through, and that makes it a little bit more fun than work for our participants. And they can tell us, and we're always checking in, and we're like, how are you feeling? Don't do something that's not comfortable. How do you feel doing this today versus how you did last week? And then the third part of the workshop is always getting to sing together. And we usually do a couple of different songs. We're building up some rep with our wonderful friends and participants. And it usually kind of ends with people just having a few moments to talk a little bit about how they're feeling and how how they're feeling a little bit more centered and what they're going to be doing with music. And we can't wait till we see each other again. So that's to take you through. So I would start with that. But then I would also say how inspiring it has been for, I think, the medical staff as well, to see some patients who were really feeling very depressed and anxious about the prospects of recovery and how long it was going to take, to see that, you're not alone. Therapy, you usually do it, it's more of a one-on-one. So this is actually interesting too, because there's a little bit of a community that is created from it. You're not alone. You may be in a Zoom in a different room, but you're not alone in this, and we're here together. That has a profound impact, and a lot of the patients have spoken to that. And then I was so grateful. We did this as a pilot for 6 weeks. And before the pilot was done, UCLA Health came back and said, "Oh, no, you're not done." That's the kind of review we like. And said, "No, we're going to keep this going. This is proven so valuable in the matrix of health." And so I'm really excited about the fact that we're continuing on, and that also UCLA is going to be evaluating it more formally, using some kind of, some assessment tools that have been pre-approved. And so that's really interesting and exciting too, that we might have some data to share, because frankly, it's so replicable. What I would hope is that other organizations, that other opera companies, that other music companies take this on. It's an incredible service to our community. And, kudos to English National Opera for doing it. And Renee Fleming has been encouraging this with her work with the National Institutes for the Health. So we're not inventing a wheel, but we're hopefully putting this wheel to service. And I hope that other organizations will also take it on. I think this is what we're always trying to do. We're trying to be in relationship and engaged with our community, to open all the doors and windows to this beautiful, inclusive art form that offers so much to so many of us, and to make, everybody is welcome in opera, and I hope that opera has a place in everybody's heart. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2021, 22.
Hello, my name is Nandini Sinha, but please feel free to call me Nani. I am a mezzo-soprano, opera singer, and teaching artist, and just general carer of people, I guess, through music with LA Opera Connects. Professionally, I've been singing since I was about 9 years old. I got my first job at the Krefeld Oper as one of the Knaben in Mozart's Die Zauberflöte, which is the magic flute. And I think I was the dritte Knabe, which is the third little boy. They had us in knee pants and hats, and they threw us up in a flying balloon that flew us all through the stage. And I thought it was great fun. So I said, I think I want to do this as a job. I got started with LA Opera in the spring of 2008. 8, I think. I had broken my back in a plane accident in 2007, and it kind of derailed my career a little bit. And I thought, well, if I can't sing, what is the second best thing I can do? Be around singers and be in the opera house that I love. And I met a colleague, a soon to be colleague of mine, at my graduate studies. And she said, you speak fluent German, because I had been raised a little bit in Germany. And would you mind coming to help Maestro Conlon, becoming an assistant and helping him with some translations? We're about to launch into our Ring Festival, and your skills would be very helpful. So I said, yes, of course, I would love to. So again, thinking I was never going to sing again, this would be the way to get back into be a part of what I love. And I started healing and taking voice lessons at the opera, outside of the opera, and slowly rebuilding my back muscles. For those of you that don't know, opera is a very athletic and almost, I would say, Olympian sort of a activity. It requires a lot of stamina and lung capacity and breath control. So slowly started building that up again, and auditioned for LA Opera Connect's department shows and concerts, and was hired. And from there, here we are. All the programs that I have been involved with in LA Opera Connects have been very vast. It first started with singing concerts at libraries and at schools, and exposing children and communities that didn't have opera as a part of their general access. And so just making opera accessible for many people through concerts and secondary education programs and elementary education programs, where we put an opera on in a school, and the kids get to be a part of the chorus, and they learn music and they learn choreography. They learn about the history of the opera, and they learn about the history of the composers. But these operas are pared down into shorter segments for school performance. Normally a school child wouldn't be able to do, like in the case of Wagner, a 4-hour opera. So it's about I think about 30 to 45 minute opera, and maybe an hour. I'm not sure. It's been a while. But the kids get to be a part of it, and building sets and learning about props and learning how to build sets. So that's a very exciting program that they have. And then I have been part of a program that is called Unity Project, where we highlight songs, civil rights songs about unity, songs about cultures, and children learn about the vastness of the human cultural experience through song. One of the programs that I helped pilot at LA Opera was a Unity Project, which children go home and they find out about their roots, where their family came from, and then they bring into school some of the stories, the migration stories of their family from Europe and Asia and South America and even North America, all over the place. And we find songs that help children understand that cultural experience. And then the kids put on a show where they sing these songs in the native languages, and they make artwork, like just collages of all the things that represent the culture and their family. And they wear their families, their heritage, clothes from their heritage, and present speeches about their family. And it was truly eye-opening, and really, I'm 100% would be accurate in saying unifying, and just helping children really understand each other. And that was a very exciting program. Another program that I've been involved with is LA Opera has partnered with Alzheimer's Los Angeles. And I sing almost weekly something called Music to Remember, where it's very interactive. We do a lot of singing together, moving together, trivia, and a lot of conversation about songs. All songs are requested for the most part from the participants, and working in really triggering memories and building cognition, if only for a short time, in the dementia and Alzheimer's community. And it's truly been my honor and pleasure to be a part of that, as my father had dementia. So I've had the pleasure to be a part of the LA Opera and UCLA program of operatic breathing techniques for long hauler COVID-19 patients. And this is inspired by the work over at the English National Opera. Now, my partner and I, Michelle Pitsakis, have come up with our own protocol and our own teaching based on our life experiences, and also our teaching through. I myself had asthma and have had a number of challenges. I've had asthma my entire life, and it's been a challenge my entire life while being an opera singer. So a lot of the protocols that I learned how to deal with that are things that I'm teaching. For example, a lot of our patients, or at least one of our patients I know, had about 80% of his lung capacity damaged, and little things like loading a dishwasher or even walking across a room were difficult for him. He would break into a sweat, and he would have to sit down, and he would feel dizzy, and then he would be out of it for the whole rest of the afternoon. So a lot of the work that we're doing is helping calm the nervous system with mindfulness and some meditative work that we're doing at the top of a session. And then we get into some breathing techniques, and these breathing techniques are, who better to go to than an opera singer who takes apart how to breathe and then puts it back together. So this way we can do these Olympian type breathing as you're moving through an aria. Think about it next time you watch someone sing an aria and see if you can hear where they're breathing. They often draw out these beautiful long melismatic lines, and you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, when did she breathe? And you don't really think about it because you're just so enamored by the tone that is being made, or the beauty of the story, or the color of her voice. But we train very diligently to be able to make that not even an issue. So working with these COVID patients who are often struggling for just a normal breath as we're speaking. They're drawing in multiple times because their lung capacity has just been damaged so badly that working on building up to taking a normal breath through things like box breathing and straw phonation and all the things that we learn in music school to help us build up our endurance to take these long breaths and exhale for long periods of time. And it's been a thrill to be a part of someone's journey in healing at this time. And I got involved because, well, for one, my experience with asthma and being an opera singer, and then also because I've been a big part of the Music is Medicine world at LA Opera Connects. So that's my story. Hello, my friends, and welcome. How is everyone doing? I'd love to check in with you today. And if you want to pick a word just to say how you're feeling, how's your day going? I'm going to say my day feels abundant today. I feel very abundant. And if anybody else wants to share a word, please do.
Yeah, a bit overwhelmed right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to honor that and say every single thing that you are feeling and thinking right now is valid. And so with that in mind, I would love it if you would adjust your seated position. I think we're all sitting so that we're in an active seated position, and that is our feet are flat on the floor. We are sitting tall with our shoulders over our hips and our head very tall on top of our. So my experience with music and medicine, or the intersection of music and medicine, has been very personal for most of my life. I think I had mentioned that in 2007, around December, I broke my back, and it derailed my career a bit. I was getting ready to sing a lot of Rossini that year. And I had said to my anesthesiologist, please, please, please be careful with my vocal cords. I don't care if I can't walk again, but be very careful with my cords. I've been working on this aria. I want to sing the Non più mesta aria from La Cenerentola. And please, please, please be careful. And I sang him a little passage apparently while I was on the way to getting knocked out. And it was my greatest desire to be able to sing that aria again and to be able to put that together. And within, I think, about 2 years, it gave me a goal. It gave me something to do when I was feeling pretty badly about not being able to walk or learning how to walk again or relying on people for basic everyday necessity because of my complications from my my back injury. And today I'm fine. I'm up and walking and everything is really good. But that learning music, learning operatic arias, gave me a goal. And anytime things got hard, I thought, no, but I want to be able to sing this again. So I will get up again and I will do this again. And then as far as asthma, I'm a little bit stubborn. So if anytime anybody tells me, no, you can't do this because of this, I will go out of my way to prove them wrong, that I can be an opera singer who has asthma and can control it and it will be okay. So music has been a driving force in my life to help me achieve goals that I've wanted and for my health. And in this terrible time during pandemic, it's been a great solace for my mental health. And I know that a lot of the patients that I've been seeing through the LA Opera Connects programs with UCLA and Rancho Los Amigos and Alzheimer's LA, they say the same thing. This community of music has been so important to them and has given them a lifeline to some sort of normalcy in a very strange and troubling time. Some of the key lessons and techniques that we're teaching, we have a 3-prong process, I guess, in our COVID long hauler classes. And it starts off with some mindfulness. So we do things like EFT tapping, meditation, Alexander technique, things that get you grounded in your body. As someone who has felt their body has betrayed them in one way or another, either with asthma or it breaking and not being, superhuman, I understand what it feels like when you can't depend on something that's always been there. So bringing in some mindfulness to reground yourself in your body and find ways to accept where we are at the moment. And that's okay. Where we are right now is okay. Tomorrow is another day. And every day we work on this, we get better and we get stronger. So building in that kind of work through mindfulness and through meditation and body work has been very important. And I know that some of our patients have said, I wish you ladies were here with me every day to remind me to do this, because I can't tell you what it does to just bring me into myself. And I feel I can take a deeper breath. So that's an exciting thing. And luckily we record our stuff so they can have us every day in their ear rather. And then the second thing that we work on is breathing exercises. So things like box breathing and straw phonation and other tips and tricks that we have as opera singers. I can't tell you everything. You would have to attend the classes. But working on ways of elongating your exhalation and also ways to take deeper, lower breaths in your body and waking up muscles that had either been really tight from horrible coughing fits, doing internal massages with some of these exercises. So this way muscles can relax and return to doing the job that they used to do. And then our final part of our program is to make it fun. And we work on music, and we've been tying up our programs for our past 2 programs with Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, because it is an ode to music. It's about the joy of music. And Michelle and I teach them how to extend the breath when we're singing Hallelujah. The first couple of times we sing it, it's very short, hallelujah, hallelujah, and then the very long one at the end. So that feels like such a major graduation when they're able to hold out that final hallelujah for 8 beats, and working on doing it as a community. One of the great things that have come of this is that patients are noticing they're not alone. People are noticing they're not alone. Other people are having the same struggles. And it's really nice to have each other to rely on, and then have Michelle and I there to help them on their journey. And it's truly been a privilege. So I'm very grateful to LA Opera and UCLA for having us be a part of this. We've had a couple tremendous success stories. One of our participants has been on oxygen for 24 hours a day, and he's now finally off oxygen 24 hours a day. And I think he told us last week that he now only uses it occasionally at night, which is a big breakthrough. He contracted COVID, I think it was April of 2020. So he's been on oxygen full time since over a year and a half. So that was a big step in his recovery, being able to not have an oxygen machine attached to him. Another participant, I think you'll probably have seen him on CNN and Inside Edition with me. He is now mountain biking with his family. He was an avid mountain biker, and COVID had debilitated him so much that they had to put him in a coma, and I think they did a tracheostomy, and his muscles had just atrophied so badly that he told me loading the dishwasher was like a workout for him. And one dish was like an entire 45-minute insanity workout. But now he's back mountain biking with his family, and I think they just took a vacation somewhere up north in California to do an entire mountain biking trip to celebrate. So those are big wins. And then another one of our participants, she has had started with an incredibly raspy voice, and you would have thought by hearing her that she was a serial smoker her entire life. She in fact was not, and there was no tone in her voice. Like, as you're listening to my voice, there's a little bit of a tone and it goes up and down. Hers was just very raspy. And there was no sound other than this rasp. And she had such a hard time trying to communicate. So, after 6 weeks in our program, all of a sudden she's got core to her voice and you can hear a tone, and she's like, it's coming back. It's slowly coming back. I'm so excited. So those are 3 of the really exciting, success stories that I can tell you about. Now, everybody is having a success story, whether it be that they can walk a little bit longer every week, or that they're learning these mindfulness techniques, or they're working on their songs, which is helping to inspire them to work on other things. And, you know, I just can't say enough good things about Dr. Kadir over at UCLA and the work that they're doing with rehabilitation and making this program available. It's really inspiring. It's truly inspiring. I'm just very proud to be a part of this community. So looking ahead, I'm looking forward to nobody being in need of this kind of a program. That is my ultimate joy. But I know that we've been talking to people. They found such usefulness in this program that they've been talking about working with other people with chronic asthma or COPD. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that very shortly we won't have to be working with anybody else who has experienced long hauler COVID syndromes. It's so heartbreaking to watch. Something that you take for granted and just do innately be taken away, and just worrying, is it going to work again, or what's going on? It's really hard to watch someone struggle with that. So, you know, that's my ultimately that no one will ever need this program again, but looking forward to being of service to as many people that are in need as possible. I guess I'd just like to say a huge thank you to LA Opera, UCLA, Alzheimer's Los Angeles, Rancho Los Amigos, and any other partners that we have at LA Opera Connects for having the forethought to put together these programs and having the I want to just say genius of connecting how important music is for everybody's health. And, not only mental health, but physical health, all the things that we found from doing these deep breathing techniques and just, bringing music to children. It's so important, and it's so innately human that just bravo to all of these amazing partners and LA Opera for putting this together. It makes it no longer music for the elite. It's music for everybody. And I'm tremendously proud to be a part of this. And just huge thank you to my collaborators, Michelle Pitsakis and Ashley Fatolia and Charlie Kim, on all of these projects. It's been my tremendous pleasure in a world where my industry got taken away from me. I mean, I haven't been on the opera stage. I was supposed to start rehearsals on March 3rd of 2020 for Romeo and Juliet and by Gounod. And that was the last time that was my last contract. And in a world where everything is just so topsy-turvy and my industry is just slowly making its way back, very cautionarily right now because of, Delta variants and other things, that it's so lovely to be of service in this way and so lovely to still be able to create my art in this way. So I'm just very grateful, very, very grateful. And thank you.
Again, first of all, I want to say what a service and a blessing it's been to the LA Opera artists and for our community, to feel like there's something we can contribute and help in some way. That magnifies us, and it has been restorative for our artists. So we're so grateful to all of these beautiful patients and to UCLA Health and all the partners.